ever since he was a baby. Bryson was always happy, always popular.
My son was funny. People were drawn to him.
Brian, Kim, and their daughter Peyton say their world stopped the day their beloved and seemingly happy 20-year-old son and brother Bryson died by suicide.
It was a normal Sunday. I had a pot of chili on that morning, and Kim just screamed and said, Brian, the police are here.
They shared that our son had taken his own life.
And I just thought to myself, why?
Now, Kim and Brian said they never saw the death of their son coming. It's very important to look at the behaviors behind their words. This issue really hits home with my next guest. Emma says she was a cheerleader and picture-perfect American girl who appeared happy on the outside but was secretly struggling with severe anxiety and depression. It led her to make a near-fatal decision that changed her life forever.
911, what's the emergency? Oh my God, please hurry, my daughter shot herself. Okay, is she breathing? Yes, please, she's breathing. Stay with me, baby girl, please.
I attempted suicide when I was 16 years old. I would describe myself as an all-American, picture-perfect girl, but I was secretly struggling with severe anxiety and depression. I started to really feel my anxiety take hold when I was about 12 years old. I kept my feelings to myself, and I isolated myself more. I thought the only people who had experienced anxiety and depression came from troubled homes and experienced severe trauma in their lives. My suicide attempt resulted in a spinal cord injury that left me paralyzed.
They said I may walk or I may not.
I was paralyzed from the neck down and was diagnosed a C4 quadriplegic. After improving my physical health, I focused on my mental health. Looking back, I was never really taught coping skills to endure life's challenges. I've made it my mission to raise awareness about mental health. I've had the privilege of creating a feature-length documentary film called My Ascension.
I just know that if it saves at least one person, or even helps one person to just stand up and be like, I have those feelings and I have those thoughts, then it's worth it.
In my opinion, if young people experience anxiety and depression at a young age and they don't address it, I think the chances of them experiencing those similar issues as they get older are pretty high.
Maybe this is my calling, you know? Maybe my pain and suffering can help someone else.
Well, Emma, thank you for being here.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
This happened how many years ago?
5.
5 years ago?
2017.
Mm-hmm. And how long had you been thinking about this before you actually did it?
I would say I started having suicidal ideation type of thinking when I got to high school, so when I was like 14. But actually, it took about a month of active suicidal thinking for me to make the decision to attempt to take my life.
Mm-hmm. And you started having the emotional pain, the feelings that you were having for quite some time, and then it really peaked and got tough in that last month. But you didn't feel like you could talk to anybody about it during that time. You kept on the happy face, the perfect American girl face. Why is that?
Well, because of the stigma mainly. I grew up in an environment where mental health was not talked about. You didn't talk about your feelings. You worked through your problems and you got better on your own. And I really dealt with the feeling of needing to be perfect all the time. So those imperfect thoughts and feelings I was ashamed of. And because of that feeling of shame associated with those types of thoughts and feelings, I never thought that it was justifiable or appropriate to share with someone. Internally, I told myself, no one would care and no one's gonna believe you, and get over it.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.